Her style is defiant, raucous, tough, and very sexy. But as you will see, there's a lot more to her than meets the eye.
It's getting harder to face every day. Don't let it show. Don't let it show.
There's a lot that Pat Benatar doesn't let show. Her vulnerability, her traditional conservative values, her desire to have a normal family life.
I'm a real softie, but that's not the side that I care to, like, share with everybody. That's like something that I keep at home.
Instead, America's most popular female rock singer shows the world a tougher, more aggressive face. The face of an independent modern woman who demands Pat's songs and her strut have caused her to be described as a passionate, sensual vamp, a tiny, sexy Tinkerbell.
Rock is a sexual thing. It's a sensual music. It deals with, you know, really base instincts. I don't think I could be a vulnerable, really soft person on stage. It's just too difficult. You have to have a real strong personality to be up there and a lot of nerve.
Pat's image fits her music perfectly, and her music reflects her approach to life, the angry, defiant rebellion that propelled this working-class kid into superstardom, rock's best-selling woman, this year's winner of the music industry's Grammy Award for Best Rock Album by a Female. They call it full-contact rock and roll, Pat and her band. It's physical, demanding, and exhausting. En route to 3 straight hit albums since 1979, the band has also staged 4 successful concert tours around the world, including this year's trip to 64 American cities. Pat Benatar's journey to the top of the rock world began in this Long Island, New York suburb, where she had what she calls a real straight Catholic childhood, growing up as Pat Andrzejewski, a feisty little tomboy who looked sweet, but was angry much of the time.
It just used to irritate me that so early in life you had already been given a little, like, thing that you had to be because you were small or a girl or whatever, that kind of thing. So I'm sure that had, like, a lot to do with it.
So how did you react?
Usually punching, stuff like that, fighting and things, you know.
As a child, Pat was encouraged to sing by her mother, a beautician who once performed in amateur operas. By high school, Pat had decided to become an opera star herself and began training her voice and singing in musicals like Camelot, in which she was the lead soprano. Pat's music teacher remembers the day she changed her career goals.
She was going to study music, and one day in June came in and said, I'm not going to study music. I'm going to study sex education, and I'm going to teach it in the public schools because I've got it all wrong. And to follow through on that, many years later, I heard her in New York, and I hadn't seen her perform. And when I saw her performing in a small club in the village, I almost died. I walked back after the performance and said, Patty, you really are teaching sex education.
Shortly after graduation, Pat abandoned all career plans and decided to give wedded life a whirl, marrying high school sweetheart Dennis Benatar, with whom she had appeared in this student film. When Dennis joined the Army, she moved with him to Virginia and worked for 2 frustrating years as a bank teller.
I just got, like, real tired of counting money every day and looking at it and being poor and being married to someone in the Army, and it was such a drag, and I just hated it. I wanted to go back to New York. So I just decided just to quit, and I just quit and started. I knew there was something else that I could do that was, like, okay.
In 1975, Pat returned to New York to start a full-time singing career. Like these people, she began by standing in line for open auditions at Catch a Rising Star, a Manhattan showcase for new talent. Her act at the club and in this never-broadcast TV appearance consisted of cabaret and Broadway songs.
Fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly. I gotta love one man till I die.
Pat soon realized she wasn't going to make it big singing this way, and wanted to try rock and roll instead, despite discouragement from so-called experts.
At the time, I started early to go around to agents and record companies and stuff, and they just kept saying, no, you sing too clean, and you're too cutesy looking, and you know, and I would explain to them, well, I wanted to do this rock and roll thing. No, you don't have the look, you don't have anything. So I got real mad.
And as she got hungrier and madder, a darker and tougher side of Pat's personality began to emerge. Much less vulnerable, but much more marketable.
All I know is that as it began to happen, the more I did it, the more response I would get. So I wasn't quite sure what it was that I was doing, but eventually I learned what I was doing, and I continued to do it.
With Heartbreaker in 1979, Pat achieved a major breakthrough. The song became one of the year's biggest hits. But still there was trouble. Conflict over record company photo sessions, which led to her promotion as a rock and roll sex symbol.
She chooses what she wears on stage. She chooses how she presents herself. And some of the shots that happened to emerge out of those sessions were very, very sexy shots.
Pat claims to have been naive about the way the promotional photos would be used, and now believes that her sexuality was oversold.
It's just that when emphasis is placed on it, like nothing else matters that you do, then I get angry, because it's not the point. It's only part of the point. They like to look at you, but you sound way better than you look.
Pat's second album was highlighted by the defiant single, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Released in 1980, the album has since sold more than 4 million copies. Pat had arrived, conquering the male-dominated world of rock stardom. Rock music expert Cal Rudman.
Pat Benatar is the only female with the authoritativeness, the credibility, the believability to sing rock and roll as a female. Rock and roll is energy. Rock and roll is force. It is a male macho thing. And yet, her image is that of femininity. She is a real woman. She's 5 feet, 97 pounds of...
The forcefulness that allows Pat to sing rock and roll convincingly also seems to draw an unusual audience to her concerts, like this one at Colorado's Red Rocks Natural Amphitheater. 8,500 people, including a greater than average number of female rock fans, waited all day to hear her sing.
We have so many women in these concerts, girls and stuff. I guess because they relate. Just the content of the song, of being able to stand up and not be hurt anymore. This isn't everything. There's got to be more to life than this. It has to be balanced. You know, I can't live this 24 hours a day. 18 hours is okay, but, you know, I really want a family very badly.
While she's waiting to have that family, Pat's godson provides an outlet for her maternal instincts. And preparation for work, like Pat's stamina-building aerobic dance classes, provides an outlet for her energy when she's not on the road. And finally, Pat is resolving years of conflict. She's a star now, making video presentations of her songs, and she became a star by recognizing who she is.
It appears to me that the one on stage is what I would picture a modern woman to be. Someone who is aggressive and soft at the same time, has a lot of strength and conviction, and can look good and still have brains.
Until she's ready for a new role, Pat's life will continue to be defined by the part she plays on stage, the tough rock star, a character she can hide behind and use to keep the world at bay, even when performing in front of thousands of people.
That's the most secure place in the world for me. That's the only time I feel like I'm always saying the right thing, always wearing the right thing, always doing the right thing.
Fascinating, real person there. Thank you, Steve.
My pleasure.